RyeOnHam here, and I get asked this question a lot, mostly by people that are first finding out, hey, wow, you're into guns. So what kind of gun do you carry? And that's a complicated question. So I've brought out most of the guns that I've carried over the years and laid them out on the table here. And I still own almost all of them. I'll tell you the ones that I don't in a minute here. The and I'm missing the P11. I couldn't find it in the safe. I know where it probably is, but it's under some other guns, and I really didn't want to take the stack down. I don't have a whole lot of room. So my current carry gun that I'm about to put away for the summer is the P11, or I'm sorry, P11, PF9, and I just finished a video, so you can check out my other videos and you'll see it in there. I'm gonna go ahead and clear all these on camera. So that's clear, and put the magazine back in, and you'll notice something as I'm clearing them. That I do need to clear some of them because these are my guns, and I do empty, and I do carry them, and they're working guns for the most part. This was a Model 642 Smith Wesson. Here's a Kel-Tec P-32, an old style one. And I'm going to leave the magazine out of that because the magazine is full. So we've got a P3AT, a new gun, empty. Magazine out and show you. Empty. And my Glock 30, also empty. And my Blackhawk. Yeah, but I want to pull the hammer back. too much shooting and not enough carrying. This new model Super Blackhawk, and you don't need to pull the hammer back on it. All right, so there you go. First things first, PF9. You can check out my video for that. This is my winter carry. I can get away with it a little longer or a little better if I have a coat, but fairly narrow. It's a pocket carry gun, but there's only certain gun or certain outfits that I wear that I can carry it in the pocket. Very nice, thin, very reliable gun. I like it a lot. Hopefully it'll never fail me because it hasn't yet, and I trust it. Now, up until this summer, I carried the P-32. And it's a 7+1 round, so let's see, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 plus 1, so 8 rounds total of 32 automatic. Some might complain that 32 automatic is, you know, it's just going to bounce off of them, and you know, most people don't understand ballistics enough to really know what's going to go on. I really just want to punch a 32 caliber hole. Hollow point's nice. If it expands, great. If it doesn't, it'll poke a hole in them still. The gun going bang is what I want most of the time. I'm not too concerned about, you know, sitting reading ballistics tables and watching test videos and imagining that that's making me a better shot. Which ultimately, it's about shot placement and state of mind for self-defense. This summer, I'm hoping to replace it with my P-32. I've shot the P-32 enough that I feel comfortable with it being my carry gun, a lot like the PF9. So everything about it is going to seem similar to me except the smaller gun. And in summer, it's easier to carry because it's lighter, it's thinner. You know, I can actually fit it in the pocket on my jeans and other outfits where I wouldn't be able to on the PF9. Yeah, I tried carrying the tried carrying the PM9, the Car Arms PM9, and that was just too big for pocket carry, but not up to snuff on this one. I spent about twice on it what I spent on this one, and I still like this one, so that one's up for sale eventually. This is a Model 642, and this was what I carried prior to the Kel-Tec, and I carried it just in winter in my pocket, and literally just drop it in the pocket. I've got the holster for it, but the nice thing about having it in the pocket is, and we'll check to make sure, is you can have it in the pocket. You can have it covered with the fabric and stuff like that, and still shoot it. As long as you don't get anything jamming up the cylinder, it'll go off. But the hammer isn't going to catch on anything. Real smooth pulling it out of the pocket. Really, really nice. Fairly lightweight. The 38 Special is a very effective round, especially if you get good quality cartridges. I use 110 grain 38 Special plus Ps. Yes, my gun is rated for plus Ps. No, I wouldn't care if it wasn't. I would still shoot them out of there on occasion, but I just wouldn't feed it a steady diet. And in my other pocket, to balance out the weight a little bit, I got a speed loader with a few more rounds. Now, when I carry the Kel-Tec, I've got a spare magazine for it, but I don't, either of the Kel-Tecs in this one during the summer, I don't intend to carry a spare magazine. And my philosophy on that is the first and second shot are going to be okay. I'm not worried about running out of ammunition. It's a save my life kind of gun. I'm not going into battle with it. I don't really care if after I've shot a few times, that's going to get me through 99.9% of the incidents. Having those few extra rounds versus trying to fumble around for the other magazine and imagine I could do a tactical reload are pretty silly. Now, those were everyday carry, go to the store, that kind of thing in North Carolina, in Washington. In Alaska, it's a different story. And when I lived in Alaska, I carried, believe it or not, a full-size 7.5-inch Ruger Super Blackhawk. I already did this, but it's just habit. And I carried it in a shoulder holster, and it served me well. It actually disappeared in the shoulder holster. You're wearing thick enough clothes during the winter, and this was my summer carry gun during in Alaska, and I'd still have a light jacket on even during the summer, whether or not I needed it, just because it made it easier to carry. But some might think, wow, it's a behemoth, but 2/3 of the time I was worried about having to use a gun in self-defense. It was not against a bear. It was not against a human. It was against them darn moose that would be everywhere. And the moose is, it's a prey animal, so it fears people because it figures everything's a predator. And it's right, humans are predators. But I didn't want it trampling me because it thought I might be annoying it. So the reason for the 7.5-inch barrel, it's what I had. I ended up getting a lighter, a shorter barrel, but I didn't use it because in a shoulder holster, 7.5 inches, 5.5 inches, 4 5/8 inches, none of that is going to matter. You might be able to draw it out slightly quicker, but really, I would rather have the extra barrel length. And the running joke was, once you shoot 6 times, the bear is going to shove it in a place that might not be too comfortable. So that's why you should file off your front sight so that it's a lot more comfortable when the bear does what's the term for that? Ungodly things to you. So there we go. The reason I've got the Glock 30 out here and I don't have the holster for it, I don't have the shoulder rig out here, but it's just a standard nylon shoulder holster that I use. I didn't use leather because I would get wet carrying this all the time, and I didn't want the leather to absorb the water and have it sitting up against the gun, and the leather absorbs the moisture most of the time. But the finish fared pretty well. This is a Glock 30, and when I go to gun shows or when I'm in areas where I feel I need extra firepower, I carry this with a 9-round magazine, and those are kind of rare, I guess. I've got one, but I didn't know how rare they were until I tried to get another one. I don't mind. I just tuck my finger underneath the magazine there. I don't mind the short grip. Night sights, always got to have night sights. I intend to replace those with the fiber optic night sights that you'll see on my Glock 26 and Glock 19, and because I like those so much. But these are fine. But I figured 10 rounds, 1 in the chamber, 9 in the magazine, 10 rounds of 45 will certainly make somebody's day a bad day and keep mine from getting worse if I need to. This replaced a Glock 22, and the reason I carried the Glock 22 was because I thought 40 caliber was going to be the end all and be all. This is back in the early 90s. So I figured, I'll get a Glock 22 because, you know, for the same size gun, you can have the 40 caliber and it's more effective and everything like that. But come to find out, since I already had a couple of other 45s, I didn't want 3 caliber handgun. I've got more than that. I've got the 32 and the 380. The wife carries a P-38T. I'm sorry, she carries a Ruger, the LCP. So she carries the 380. So I figured I'd switch from the 32 caliber to the 380, and it's a little more effective. One less round though, which kind of annoys me. But again, if you get to the bottom of the magazine, you need to start throwing the gun, running and screaming, whether or not it's 7 or 8 rounds that you fired, because you're probably losing in the battle at that point. So I've carried all these guns except for this one at one time or another, and they've all served me well. I trust them. I don't have anything whiz bang, and you know, for everyday carry, if you will. And the reason I don't is because I don't need it. Most social situations that we're going to be in do not require it. If I really need a situation where I need to have something super ninja pistol-wise, there we go. This is my pistol currently waiting on a Form 1. Yeah, my everyday carry is not going to be this. This will eventually have a stock on it as soon as the BATF says I can have one. But that's where I would go if I needed something whiz-bang. But most of those are range toys. I'm pragmatic about it. I realize that I don't have zombies. I don't live in a bad part of town. Most of my nemesis would be 1 or 2 people at the most. I figure that would be running as I'm shooting at them. And if I get into a situation that's worse than that, well, I'm the same as everybody else. I'm either going to die or I'm going to go down shooting. At least I might get a couple of shots into the person that kills me. So there's RyeOnHam's everyday carry situation. If you ever meet up with me and try to do bad things to me, I am ready, but you're not going to get shot with something old, exotic, or fancy. You're also not going to get shot with something that's unreliable. So chances are, if you're going to get shot, you're going to get shot more than once until we're at a point where I've run out of ammo. And then if you're still alive, well, yeah, you can have my guns at that point because they're empty anyways, and they're not going to do you any good. All right, it's RyeOnHam. If you like this video, please like, subscribe, share, comment, favorite if you want to see it again. This is the kind of self-indulgent. I don't normally do this. I don't normally go out and what do you call it? Tell you about my stuff, and normally it's stuff that I think you're interested in. Well, this is stuff that I think I'm interested in, and there we are. Once again, this is RyeOnHam. Goodbye.